Good day, Miss. My name is Sarmina, daughter of Balu. My ID number DAC10222200583. In this video, my group and I want to talk about the blood and the immunity system. Blood. What is blood? Blood is one of the most important components of the human's body. Blood is a fluid connective tissue that constantly circulates throughout our body. It's made up of a liquid part called as plasma and various types of cells known as formed elements. Together, they play a crucial role in keeping us alive. Blood transports oxygen, nutrients, and waste. It helps regulate body temperature and pH levels, and it even protects us by fighting off infections. Now, let's take a closer look at the components of the blood. Blood is made up of two main parts, which is plasma and formed elements. First, plasma. Plasma makes up about 55% of our blood. It's a clear, yellowish liquid that about 90% of water. But it's much more than just water. Plasma contains important proteins like albumin, globulins, and fibrinogen. These proteins help with things like maintaining blood pressure, fighting infections, and blood forming clots. Plasma also transports nitrogen, hormones, waste products, and electrolytes throughout the body. Its main job is to keep substance moving and to help maintain fluid balance. The other 45% of blood is made up of what we call as formed elements. These are the actual blood cells. There are three main types, which is red blood cell, white blood cell, and platelets. Red blood cell is which carry oxygen from the lungs to the rest of the body. White blood cells is which helps defend the body against infections, and platelets, which are small cell fragments that play a critical role in blood clotting to stop bleeding. All of the cells are produced in the bone marrow, which is found in the center of the certain bones. Together, plasma and formed elements work as a team to keep our bodies functioning smoothly, delivering oxygen, fighting infections, and healing wounds when we are hurt. Now, let's talk about the structure and the functions of one of the most important cell in our body, the red blood cell. Structure. The red blood cell have a biconcave disc shape. That means they are round and flat with a dimple on each side, almost like a donut without a hole. This shape increases the surface area of the cell, which makes the gas exchange like taking in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide are much more efficient. Unlike most cells in the body, red blood cells don't have a nucleus or organelles. While that might sound strange, it's actually beneficial. By not having a nucleus, the cells have more room to carry hemoglobin, the protein responsible for binding and transporting oxygen. Red blood cells also have a very flexible membrane. This flexibility is key because it allows them to twist and squeeze through the narrowest blood vessels, known as capillaries, without bursting. This way, they can reach every corner of the body, delivering oxygen exactly where it's needed. At the core of each red blood cell is protein hemoglobin. Hemoglobin contains iron and is what gives blood its red color. Now, let's talk about the functions. So, what exactly do red blood cells do? Their main job is to transport oxygen from the lungs to all the tissues in the body. When you breathe in, oxygen enters your lungs and red blood cells pick it up using their hemoglobin. They also have a second, equally important role, which is carrying carbon dioxide, a waste product of cellular activity, from the tissue back to the lungs where it's exhaled. Oxygen doesn't just float around your body, it binds specifically to hemoglobin inside the red blood cell. This efficient transport system keeps your organs and muscles function properly. Red blood cells live for about 120 days, after which they are broken down, mostly in the spleen and liver. Meanwhile, new red blood cells are constantly being produced in the red bone marrow, ensuring your body always has a fresh supply. Let's talk about hemoglobin and oxygen transport. Hemoglobin is a vital protein found in the red blood cells responsible for transporting oxygen throughout the body. It is made up of four subunits, and each of the subunits contains an ion containing hemigroup. The ion within the hemo binds to oxygen molecules, allowing hemoglobin to carry and release oxygen as needed. When oxygen is required by all the tissue, hemoglobin releases it, ensuring that every cell in the body receives the oxygen it needs to function properly. Additionally, hemoglobin also plays an important role in transporting carbon dioxide, a waste product of metabolism, back to the lungs of exhalation. Each hemoglobin molecule can bind to four oxygen molecules, and when it carries oxygen, it is referred to as oxyhemoglobin, which gives blood its bright red color. When hemoglobin is without oxygen, it becomes deoxyhemoglobin, which has a darker red hue. In addition to oxygen, hemoglobin transports a small amount of carbon dioxide. This efficient mechanism ensures that oxygen is delivered to the tissue while also helping to remove carbon dioxide from the body, playing a critical role in maintaining in body's balance of gases. Now, let's talk about the blood types and the ABO-RH system. Blood types are determined by specific markers called antigen on the surface of red blood cells, which helps the body recognize its own blood. The ABO system classifies blood into four types, which is A, B, AB, and O, based on the presence or absence of A and B antigens. For example, type A blood as A antigen, type B blood as B antigens, type AB as both A and B antigens, and type O as neither. In addition to the ABO system, blood can be Rh positive and Rh negative depending on whether the Rh antigen is present. This means there are eight common types of blood, which is A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus, AB plus, AB minus, O plus, and O minus. Understanding your blood type is critical for safe blood transactions, organ donations, and preventing immune system. Now, let's talk about the blood types and the ABO-RH system. Blood types are determined by specific markers called antigen on the surface of red blood cells, which helps the body recognize its own blood. The ABO system classifies blood into four types, which is A, B, AB, and O, based on the presence or absence of A and B antigens. For example, type A blood as A antigen, type B blood as B antigens, type AB as both A and B antigens, and type O as neither. In addition to the ABO system, blood can be Rh positive and Rh negative depending on whether the Rh antigen is present. This means there are eight common types of blood, which is A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus, AB plus, AB minus, O plus, and O minus. Understanding your blood type is critical for safe blood transactions, organ donations, and preventing immune system. Last but not least, let's talk about the role of platelets in blood clotting. Platelets are tiny, disc-shaped cell fragments produced in the bone marrow from the large cell called as megakaryocytes. They have a short lifespan, about 5 to 9 days. The primary role of the platelets is to prevent blood loss by assisting in the blood clotting. When a blood vessel is injured, platelets quickly gather at the site, releasing chemicals that attract more platelets to the form of a plug and seal the wound. The clotting process, known as hemostasis, involves several stages. First, blood cells constrict to reduce blood flow, then platelets from a plug at the injury site, followed by coagulation where fibrin threads trap the red blood cell and platelets, forming a solid clot. Finally, the clot contracts to help close the wound, enable tissue repair to begin. This process is important for stopping bleeding and promoting healing.
As we transition from the circulatory system, let's now explore the immune system, one of the most intricate and essential defense mechanisms in our body. The immune system is responsible for protecting us against a wide variety of pathogens, including bacteria, fungi, viruses, and parasites. But it does more than just defend, it helps maintain internal balance, also known as homeostasis. Without a properly functioning immune system, even a simple cold could become a severe threat. It relies on an interconnected network of cells, tissues, and signaling molecules to identify, target, and eliminate everything that doesn't belong. As we transition from the circulatory system, let's now explore the immune system, one of the most intricate and essential defense mechanisms in our body. The immune system is responsible for protecting us against a wide variety of pathogens, fungi, bacteria, and parasites. But it does more than just defend, it helps maintain internal balance, also known as homeostasis. Without a properly functioning immune system, even a simple cold could become a severe threat. It relies on an interconnected network of cells, tissues, and signaling molecules to identify, target, and eliminate anything that doesn't belong. White blood cells, also known as leukocytes, are the immune system's frontline warriors. They come in two branch categories, granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes includes neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils, which are easily identified under a microscope by their granules. Neutrophils are often the first to arrive at the scene of infection and are excellent at engulfing pathogens through phagocytosis. Eosinophils play a key role in fighting parasitic infections and mediating allergic responses. Basophils, tough rat, release histamine and contribute to inflammation. Let's take a closer look at two of the lesser known but equally important white blood cells, eosinophils and basophils. Eosinophils are primarily involved in fighting of parasites such as hookworms. They also play a key role in allergic reactions, often being responsible for tissue damage during severe allergic responses. Basophils, on the other hand, are short-lived cells with granules filled with histamine and heparin. Although they represent less than 1% of white blood cells, they can trigger powerful reaction, especially during anaphylaxis, a severe, potentially life-threatening allergic reaction. Both eosinophils and basophils demonstrate how delicate the balance in the immune system is. When these cells are overactive or improperly regulated, the result can be chronic inflammation, allergies, or damage to healthy tissues. The first line of defense our body has against infection is called innate immunity. This part of the immune system is non-specific, meaning it reacts the same way to all invaders and doesn't require previous exposure. It's always ready to respond and quickly. The skin acts as a physical barrier, blocking most microbes from entering the body. Mucous membranes in the respiratory, digestive and urinary tracts trap potential invaders while cilia help move them out. There are also chemical defenses like stomach acid that destroys ingested pathogens or enzymes in tears and saliva that break down bacterial walls. Even small antimicrobial peptides in our bodies such as defenses punch holes in microbial membranes. All these elements work together as an immediate protective shield to prevent infection from establishing in the first place. Inflammation is the body's alarm system. It's triggered not just by microbes but also by physical trauma, toxins or heat. Chemical messengers like histamines and cytokines cause blood vessels to widen, allowing immune cells and blood to enter the damaged tissue. Neutrophils arrive first, guided by chemotaxis, a chemical tray released by injured cells. Macrophages and dendritic cells follow to clean up the site and start antigen presentation. Phagocytosis begins with the recognition of a pathogen using receptors on immune cells. Once recognized, the pathogen is engulfed into a phagosome, which then fuses with a lysosome containing enzymes and toxic molecules. The pathogen is destroyed and fragments are sometimes used to alert the adaptive immune system. Once a pathogen is destroyed, the immune system prepares for the next level of defense, adaptive immunity. Macrophages act as antigen-presenting cells or APCs. They display pieces of pathogens on their surface using molecule called MHC. These antigen fragments are then shown to helper T cells, which activate the adaptive immune response. At the same time, the body must regulate inflammation. While inflammation is protective, too much of it or inflammation that lasts too long can cause serious harm, such as rheumatoid arthritis or atherosclerosis. That's why feedback mechanism exists to reduce inflammation once the threat is gone. Supporting systems like complement cascade and NK cells continue playing backup roles to ensure complete protective and cleanup. Fever or phyrexia is one of the most familiar signs of infection, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. A fever is a rise in body temperature controlled by the hypothalamus in response to chemicals called pyrogens. These can come from pathogens or be released by immune cells called endogenous. These pyrogens stimulate the release of prostaglandin E2, which tells the hypothalamus to raise the body's temperature set point. This increase in temperature helps slow down the growth of many pathogens, boost the effectiveness of immune cells like phagocytosis and lymphocytosis, and stimulate the production of protective proteins. However, very high fever above 41.5 degrees Celsius can be dangerous, leading to seizures or organ damage. That's why antipyretics like paracetamol or ibuprofen may be needed. Complement system is a powerful series of over 30 proteins found in the blood, usually in an inactive form. When activated, either through the classical pathway triggered by antibodies, the alternative pathway triggered directly by microbes, or the lectin pathway triggered by sugars on microbial surfaces, these systems amplify the immune response. One of its key actions is forming C3 convertase, which splits a key protein C3 into C3A and C3B. C3A helps promote inflammation, while C3B tags pathogens for destruction, a process called opsonization. The system can go even further by forming a membrane attack complex or MAC, which punches holes in pathogen membranes leading to their death. This system not only enhances innate immunity but also bridges to adaptive responses. When dysfunctional, it can lead to recurrent infections or autoimmune conditions, making it a crucial component of our immune defense.
Adaptive immunity, B cells and antibody production. Adaptive immunity is a sophisticated defense system that tailors the body's responses to specific pathogens. Central to the system are B cells, which produce antibodies, specialized proteins that recognize and neutralize foreign invaders. These antibodies are generated through complex processes ensuring specificity and potency against diverse antigens. This presentation explores key components of adaptive immunity, focusing on how B cells work alongside other immune cells to mount effective, long-lasting protection. T cells helper and characteristic roles. Helper T cells coordinate immune responses by activating B cells and other immune cells, releasing cytokines to orchestrate defense mechanisms. Cytotoxic T cells directly kill infected cancerous cells through targeted destruction, essential for essential for clearing intracellular pathogens. T cells set T cells set synergetically with B cells, guaranteeing a comprehensive adaptive immune responses. That this both is specific and potent antigen presentation and immune recognition. Antigen presenting cells is called as APCS. Dendritic cells and microphages capture pentagons and display antigen fragments on their surface using MHC molecules. Processing of pentagons presentation to T cells. First point, uh, initiation of adaptive responses. Immune recognition. T and B cells recognize specific antigens uh, re- via receptors, enabling targeted activation. This precise recognition ensure efficient elimination of threats without harming host cells. Primary versus secondary immune responses. First, we go to the primary responses. Initial exposure to an antigen triggers a slower immune reaction with a gradual antibody production and immune cells. Secondary responses. Re-exposure elicit uh, elis, elicits rapid anti-robust antibody production thanks to memory B cells, providing quicker and stronger protections. Memory cells, memory memory cells and long-term immunity. Immune memory, specialized to B and T cells, persist of after infection, enabling rapid responses to future exposures. Vaccination exploits memory cells for formation to provide lasting immunity without causing disease. Last but not least, duration. Memory cells can last years or decades, maintaining immune vigences over time.
Hello, my name is Srinishalini Murali. My ID number is DHZ0922200295. Immune organs of body. The body's defense mechanism against disease and infection is the immune system. To be able to work, it depends on several special organs referred to as immune organs. The immune organ helps in producing, training, and keeping the white blood cell and fight infection germs. The main immune organs are bone marrow, thymus, spleen, lymph nodes, and tonsils. Let's move on to the function of immune organs. The first one is bone marrow, the soft tissue found in our bones. It is an extremely important component since it helps to create different types of blood cells, including white blood cells, which protect the body against infection. The second one is thymus. Thymus is located in the chest area, over the heart. The thymus drains a type of white blood cells called T cells. These cells gain the power to recognize and destroy dangerous intrudes like viruses and bacteria. The thymus works very hard when we are young. The third one is spleen, situated on the left side of the body near the stomach. The spleen cleans the blood, eliminates old cells or broken ones, and helps protect the body from bacteria. It also holds white blood cells that are ready to battle infection. Fourth one is lymph nodes, small bean-shaped masses that appear throughout the body, such as in the neck, armpit, and groin. They resemble filters and have a lot of white blood cells. When harmful germs infect the body, lymph nodes trap them and help the body to destroy them. The last one, tonsils. Located at the back of the throat, they cover the body by catching germs entering the body through the nose or mouth. Though they are small, they help keep us healthy. There are 6 common causes of autoimmune diseases. For example, gender, family history, environmental factors, ethnicity, nutrition, and other health conditions. Different autoimmune diseases may have similar early symptoms like fatigue, dizziness or lightheadedness, low-grade fever, muscle aches, swelling, hair loss, or skin rash. Although symptoms vary depending on the illness, usually including organ-specific dysfunction as well as tiredness, joint comfort, and skin issues. Reaction of hypersensitivity and allergies. The immune system helps the body against infection by means of a crucial part. In other situations, thought it can hyperreact or inappropriately respond to innocuous compounds, resulting in conditions known as sensitivities or allergies. Hypersensitivity is the exaggerated or aberrant immunological reaction that result in tissue damage. 4 main kinds of response are classified as type 1, 2, 3, and 4. Type 1 hypersensitivity, an overreaction of the immune system to often innocuous environmental substances known as allergen. Type 1 hypersensitivity, also known as immediate or allergic hypersensitivity, occurs. Pollen, dust mites, animal dander, some meals, and insect sting are among these allergies. Immunoglobulin, antibodies generated by the body in its responses connected with mast cell. These mast cells release histamine and other compounds upon further contact with the allergen, resulting in symptoms ranging from sneezing, itching, swelling, and even life-threatening analyzation. Type 2 hypersensitivity, also known as cytotoxic hypersensitivity, uses IgG or IgM antibodies to improperly attack and kill the body's own cell, usually aimed at the cell possessing surface antigen such as red blood cells. This kind of response is once antibody attack to these cells, they can either trigger cytotoxics or start the complement cascade, therefore causing cell death. Examples include hemolytic anemia, blood transfusion reaction, and hemolytic disease of the newborn caused by Rh incompatibility. Type 3 hypersensitivity, also called as immune complex mediated hypersensitivity, is referred to as type 3 hypersensitivity. It happens when antigen antibody complexes form in the bloodstream and settle in several tissues like the kidneys, joints, or blood arteries. View complement system activation and white blood cell attraction. These deposits cause inflammation and tissue damage. These kind of reaction produce illnesses including systemic lupus erythematosus (SLE). Unlike other kind of hypersensitivity, type 4 hypersensitivity or delayed type hypersensitivity is brought on by T lymphocyte instead of antibodies. This reaction develops 24 to 72 hours following exposure to the antigen. Sensitized T cell release cytokines that draw other immune cells when they come into contact with the antigen once more, therefore causing inflammation and tissue damage. The tuberculin skin test, contact dermatitis, and chronic transplant rejection are all examples of this kind. Immunodeficiency disorder. Immunodeficiency disease results from an underactive or missing immune system that renders the body more susceptible to infection. Primary and secondary kind define these illnesses, typically genetic and visible from birth. Primarily, immunodeficiency disorder (PIDs) are examples include X-linked agammaglobulinemia, common variable immunodeficiency (CVID), and severe combined immunodeficiency (SCID). There are underforms of immunodeficiency disorder. Each disorder has unique symptoms that can be frequent or chronic. However, there are few warning signs that something may be going on with your immune system, like pink eye, sinus infection, thrush, cold, chronic gum disease, pneumonia, and yeast infection. Individuals with immunodeficiency disorder may also develop chronic abdominal pain and they may even lose weight over time. The following can cause a immunodeficiency disorder, like severe burns, chemotherapy, radiation, diabetes mellitus, and malnutrition.